Welcome to the Tesla Economist. Please hit the thumbs up and remember to subscribe. You can follow me on Twitter and talk to me on Patreon. Alright, we just witnessed a lot of blood in the streets. Tesla closed down 12% to $876. This is a huge daily drop in Tesla's stock price. Now, if you're holding Tesla shares and have a job that pays well enough for you to make your mortgage payments, then you don't need to worry about this recent dip, despite the tens of thousands or hundreds of thousands of dollars you may have just lost. Lost is a strong word. You still own the exact same amount of Tesla shares as you did before, and if you're not selling them now, then you're not locking in the loss. In fact, if you are hurting now or feeling down or like you've lost, then no offense, but it just means you're not yet a pro Tesla investor. Really, the longer you invest in Tesla, the more you get used to these experiences. It's like a muscle. The more practice you get in crashes, the stronger your muscle becomes. And this muscle is the will of your conviction in holding your position. That does, however, go two ways. When you dull out the pain of losing a ton of money in a day or over a week, then it also affects your emotion on the highs. The days Tesla rockets up, well, you can't get too excited about those either. The market is volatile enough all on its own, and Tesla is like pouring gasoline on that fire. Tesla will challenge you as an investor time and time again. Tesla is not for the weak investor, or paper hands, as they say. However, look who I'm talking to. The upper echelon of Tesla investors. I'm guessing the vast majority of you are not concerned about how much your portfolio has just dropped. I'm guessing the questions on most of your minds are, is it time to be buying? And I'm already getting inundated with DMs on Twitter about people asking me if I'm buying leaps now. This is a major correction or adjustment either way, so I'm going to adapt a strategy accordingly. As usual, I don't intend for you to copy mine, but just get an idea of what and why I am doing it in order to help you with your conviction into what strategy makes sense to you. Now, as I said in previous videos, that the outlook isn't looking great for Tesla right now, by which I mean over the next quarter or so. I talked about this. Although the video was not that well received, I warned people about how the stock might not perform so well in this quarter. I even sold about 3/4 of the value in my leaps as well. As I was explaining, I want to take profits at times too, so I did. However, this is Tesla. The big stock moves are usually random events, like Hertz ordering Teslas for their fleet. And here again, I think most of what is going on with Tesla is Elon's Twitter activities. As you know, Elon has decided to buy Twitter, but he doesn't have enough cash for it. It's likely it will end up in an LBO, which is a leveraged buyout, meaning that you can borrow money against the company to buy it. Whether Elon borrows against Tesla stock or Twitter stock, it doesn't make much difference, but it's a lot to borrow, and he will likely also need to inject a reasonable amount of cash too. This cash is most likely going to come from Elon having to sell Tesla stock. We saw the stock crash about 20% last time Elon started selling his Tesla stock. This could be the market somewhat preempting another sell-off, further exacerbated by a genuinely bad day in the market. Will Elon have to give up more Tesla shares to purchase Twitter? It's highly probable, but how many is the question? He already owns 10% of Twitter. He may borrow 50%, so there might be around $15 billion or so he needs to find. And it's highly possible that he is taking on other investors with this acquisition. Anyway, I could do a whole video on the Twitter scenario, but you get the point. There is a chance of another Elon sell-off. Alright, so I traded out of most of my options and have a reasonable amount of cash to buy back in again, but I wanted to wait for the smart money to come in this time. Last time I bought during Elon's sell-off, near the bottom, only to be faced with inflation issues and then a war. I was using short-term options, which is always much riskier, and lost it all. This time I'm going to be more patient and wait for it to dip a bit lower, perhaps not buy again until it's on the trend reversal, and this time I'll be purchasing leaps, not short-term call options. That's me going for a bargain, not just a dip. If it dips below 800, then I'm likely to buy back my position fully anyway. I just don't want to be caught out. Of course, tomorrow Tesla could just open back up at $1,000 again too, and I would have missed the dip. It's not that I don't think it's a good time to be buying now. If you're looking at building up your position in Tesla still, then I think the stock being below 900 is a good buy. I'm just trying to be a little bit more patient, and I may end up missing this dip as a result. But if it does look like it's starting to recover, then I'll buy a couple of leaps anyway. I've been doing a lot of valuations of Tesla lately, since the Q1 report, and as far as I can tell, the company should still have a valuation above $1,000, even if the 4680 cells have not hit volume production yet by the end of the year. I mentioned 4680 as this is my belief as to what is required to seriously level the stock price up, and I can't see too many other scenarios that can do that. It's kind of like buy as many stock as you can before Tesla prove how amazing the 4680 cells really are. But I think by the end of the year, the stock price could still be sitting around $1,200, even without 4680 progress. Call that perhaps an intrinsic value based on current technology. At least that's how I look at it. So yeah, I don't believe the stock price had gotten too far ahead of itself. I mean, at the start of 2021, the stock price was higher than today. Look what has happened since then. We discovered that China could become an LFP powerhouse, and we built these two new massive factories, amongst other things. And this is just in the last year. What can we expect in the next year? In fact, that's a great point. Think of the future of this company. What's going to happen when Tesla finally take control of their own in-house cell production, the best manufacturing company in the world, finally not held back by other manufacturers for their consumption of batteries, the most integral element of EVs. So many incredible things on the horizon for this company. We need to remind ourselves that despite the size Tesla is now, the company has barely begun. Sure, they've been working really hard for the last nearly 2 decades, but that's what it takes. The exponentials take some time to really kick in, but we are now close to the precipice of these exponentials finally building up, that the numbers are about to get big. And we have these 2 new factories as proof. This drop in Tesla's price isn't even a scary one. It's not like we're faced with a potential third world war or a pandemic that will kill a third of the population. Usually on these sorts of dips, it's something quite concerning that would actually make you think twice about buying in the first place. That's not the case this time. We don't have the usual doom and gloom. This is just a slight market adjustment. I mean, the VIX was getting pretty high, and even if Elon has to sell some Tesla shares, then it doesn't make the company any less valuable, and the stock will bounce back after. When Elon was selling last time, it was a gift. We were given a lower stock price. Unfortunately, it kept going lower due to other circumstances. So what I'm saying is that Tesla's stock price can still be reasonably more valuable than it is today in their current state, as in no 4680 sales. But Elon is very confident about the 4680 sales, and it's just a matter of time. Before then, we might get the occasional dip we can use as a buying opportunity to build our position as much as possible for the next wave. Probably when we hear something like 5,000 4680 units a week coming off the production line in Austin. But in the meantime, the market is probably going to be fairly brutal out there. But if you can hang in long enough, then we should be rewarded. Don't let my strategy dissuade you too much. If you think right now is a good time to be accumulating your position, then it probably is. We all have our different objectives and strategies on how to reach them. Let me know what you plan to do on this dip. Thanks for listening. Please hit the thumbs up and subscribe. You can follow me on Twitter and talk to me on Patreon.